Ah. Okay, we're coming back with another one today. Um, had a scheduled interview with a friend of mine from basic training. So you got a couple of viewpoints from the female side with my sister. She came on because she's a part of the Navy, and another person, Scafoni, that she was in the same company that I was. And now we've got a guy, a special guy that everybody highly respect from basic training. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, was Soldier of the Cycle. And his name is Kelly. And I'm going to get him on today to tell his side of the story of his basic training experience and all that good stuff and see how that goes. 1 second while I put this in the chats in Facebook, and I will get him on in a second. Been cranking out all day. All right, here we go. So I'm about to start the show. I welcome a good friend of mine, Logan Kelly, to the stream. Here we go.
What's going on?
How you
What's
doing,
going
Mr.
on, everybody?
Kelly?
I'm hanging in there, brother. How you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome to the show. I know you was take time out your busy day to come on and do this. You're actually my third person to interview. I don't know if you've seen from the group chat. I had two others on,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get your side of the story and everything like that, and all your good experience. And before that, tell everybody about yourself.
What's up, guys? I'm Logan Kelly, originally from New Jersey. I joined the Army at about the same time as Wilson here. We went to basic training together at Fort Jackson back in October of last year of 2019. I'm now going to Airborne school next week, and then I'm going to be stationed at Fort Bragg permanently. So.
Oh, okay, okay. That's good. I didn't know you were doing airborne, but we'll get part of that in the show. But like first thing first, I always ask this from the last two interviews. So, starting point, what made you and decide to join the army?
Honestly, ever since I was younger, I told my parents I was going to join the military. I never was like, oh, I'm going to be an astronaut or I'm going to be a professional baseball player or anything. I feel like I connected at a young age with the camaraderie and everything that comes along with the military. And I've just always stuck by it since I was probably 10 years old, I'd say.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. So, now that you thought about it and stuff, what was your process in going to the recruiter and everything? Like, did you have any family members you talked to about it, or did you just say, "Hey, I'm just going. Let me go tomorrow"? Like, how did your thought process do it goes?
So my experience was a little bit different because I actually got a national scholarship to go to ROTC to be an officer for
What?
college.
Okay.
So I went to Penn State for 2 years, and I was doing ROTC there. And in the end, it turned out to not be for me to be doing college and everything at the same time. But
Okay.
I still connected with the Army, and I was like, this is what I want to do. And through that experience, I kind of learned that intelligence was probably
Hmm.
the right way for me, and that's my MOS now is a 35 Fox. Um, so I went into the recruiter and I kind of put my foot down, and I was like, Sergeant, I need to get a 35 series job. Uh, and I think that the experience I had before kind of made
Hmm.
it better for me when I went in there knowing what I wanted, because a lot of times I know recruiters kind of try to talk people into doing other things.
Other shit. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And if you go in there with the idea of like, this is what I want and I won't take anything other than it, most of the time they're going to be able to get you what you want.
So, explain to me and the viewers what is a 35 series.
So 35 series, it all falls under intelligence. So a 35 Fox, which is me, is an intelligence analyst or an all source analyst, which basically takes in so geo in, human, so pictures from the sky,
Okay.
the collection processes that we get from the human intelligence collectors. We put it all together to help understand more the mission that we're going to go on and help the commander plan the missions beforehand.
Okay. Okay. So, now that you're in the 35 series and stuff like that, why do you still want to be an officer, or you just want to do your enlisted?
Uh, I think so. I'm about 3 semesters off of my bachelor's now,
Oh,
because
so that's
my AIT gave me 30 credits.
okay.
So I am thinking of finishing up my bachelor's now in national intelligence, which is what I just got my associates in while I was here.
Okay.
And if the cards go right, then I will just try and go to OCS after. If I like the job and I'm happy with it, I might just stay in and continue living the enlisted life, because the two lives are completely different.
Yes, it
Being a
is. Totally.
35 Fox, and like, as you know, with your MLS, you actually are doing the job, whereas officers are extremely valuable in their managerial experience and how they control units and whatnot. So
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so you're thinking about being an officer and things like that. So you said OCS. What is there other types of forms of getting to an officer position? Can you explain to me that?
yeah, so there's multiple ways. So if you already have a college degree, you can apply for OCS. Where if you are already in the military, you will just go to OCS. If you were not prior in the military, but you already have a college degree, you will go to basic training, and then you will go to OCS right after
Okay.
basic training is over.
So,
If
so
you
wait, hold on.
don't, yeah.
So you say you don't have a degree, you will go to basic training, then OCS. And
So you need a degree to go to OCS at all.
okay, at
Um,
all. Okay.
yeah. Uh, so if you want to become an officer, you have to have at least a bachelor's to
Okay.
even get into OCS. But if you
Okay.
weren't already in the military beforehand, you will have to go to basic training before you go to OCS. You don't just skip basic training altogether.
Okay. So you say you go to OCS. If you already have a degree, you do basic training. But what if you have a degree and you go to OCS like six? That's how you do it, like the 2 ways.
Yeah, so there's that way. Then there's the ROTC way, which is what I was doing.
Yes.
And that is where you go to college, and during your college, you get trained multiple days a week. You have
Okay.
PT like the real Army. So you'll go to PT
Okay.
in the morning, and then you have your regular college classes, but then you also take military classes and do trainings in the summer. So as soon as you graduate college, you are a lieutenant.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's a good thing. Okay, well, I wish you the best in becoming an officer. I mean,
Thank
me
you.
myself, I have 44 credits,
Mhm.
ECPI is calling me out their ass to go back to school. I'm like, I'm not going back to school till January because, COVID-19. So,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about being an officer too. And that'll be good that you and I got that relationship that we could rely on each other in the future, like for an advice. 'Cause I know your way might be different from mine might be different from yours. So that's understandable. Okay. Well, since you did that, and that's a good thing to do. Do you recommend people that are just starting and that don't have a degree to become an officer, or just chill on the listed side before they make that decision?
So I would say for a lot of my friends, I have a lot of friends that are now lieutenants because they graduated in commission, and I don't think any of them would have changed their experience for the world. What I will say is, if you're coming out of high school and you don't think you can get that scholarship to go to college for
Mhm.
free, um, I would recommend going enlisted for a little bit
Yeah.
and trying to get that scholarship during your enlisted time. Because I know a lot of people can't afford, 20, 30, $40,000 a year to go to college just
Ooh,
to
you're
just to
trolling.
become an officer later on.
Yeah.
Um, so if you feel that you can get the scholarship and you apply for it and you get it, then great, you have free college right there. You already have free college. So 100% recommend going for that. But if you don't know if you're going to be able to get that scholarship, it's definitely worth enlisting and getting a taste of the military beforehand, because what people don't
Okay.
know about the officer side is that you are agreeing basically to the 8 years after that. It's not like a 2 or 3 year contract like us enlisted
Yes.
people have. It's a long contract, so you're
Yeah.
you're agreeing for a long time of your life to be in the military.
Yeah. So if you're just doing a 2 to 3 or 4 year get in and get out, so you don't recommend it for those people then.
Yeah, I would definitely not recommend if someone's just trying to get in the military and get out, and I understand a lot of people do it for the benefits, and the benefits are great. So in that case, I would definitely not recommend trying to go officer because that's going to be a long road for you if you don't enjoy what you're doing in the military, you know?
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Okay, now let's backtrack a little bit. So now that you said what you said, you went to school, you talked to the recruiter. What was your length of time before going into basic training? Like from your recruiter doing all your Asvab thing. Like tell me your whole journey. Tell me from the recruiter to the day one at reception, basically.
Okay. So basically, I went into the recruiters after I left college. It was probably around May or June.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them I wanted the 35 series job. It turned out to be a Fox, which was great.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to work for me for a little bit longer to get me the 35 Fox job. Whereas if you just take a job, that they have available already, you can be in and out in like 3 weeks. You could be at basic training. Um, so
Yes, yes, and you get a bonus, correct?
yeah. If you take a job that they have available, they will definitely give you one.
Okay.
So I'd say it was probably about June when I went in. I went to MEPS for the first time to
Mm-hmm.
actually get my physical and everything in like August, and I got my reservation for my job then. So
Mm.
it was August to October was that space between when I took the oath and everything, and then when I actually left for basic.
Okay, okay. So did you see that the ASVAB was hard in any way? The whole MEPS problem process, was it hard for you, do you think?
Uh, MEPS is a really weird experience because it's your first introduction to being a private, right? So
Yeah.
you're not really treated very nicely. Everyone knows that going into it. Um, for me, I didn't find the ASVAB to be particularly hard because I had taken college level math classes and whatnot like that. So it's like high school level math. So I could see definitely how some people have an issue with doing well in the ASVAB because it definitely wasn't a super easy test to
Mm-hmm.
get a high score on. But I ended up doing pretty well. And the thing a lot of people don't understand is like the higher you get on your ASVAB, the more job opportunities you actually
Yes,
open yourself up to.
yes. I heard about that. They said more job opportunities and also more money you get from a bonus standpoint. And I
Yeah.
think what I was told, if you get over 50, you get automatic some money to just take your ass back to school.
Yep. Definitely.
Okay, okay. So the match process was not that hard. So are you active duty, National Guard, or Reserve?
I'm active duty.
Oh, okay. So you live in the high life now. So
Not quite.
yeah. So how did you have to do any drills or anything like that? Check-ins? Like what was your length of time before you shipped out? Did you have to do with
uh,
your recruiter?
honestly, after you go to MEPS and everything, your recruiter, if you're active duty, you don't have to go to any drills or anything, but your recruiter usually wants you to do like workouts with them like once a week or
Okay.
whatever to kind of gauge where you are before you go to basic.
Hmm.
But I was working full time leading up to leaving. So I would meet with my recruiter, talk to him like once a week about, but you don't really have any military obligations between when you take the oath and then when you actually leave, which people myself being active duty, I didn't really know about the National Guard side. Is you guys actually went to drills and whatnot before basic, which was interesting to me. So.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah, because to be honest with you, like you, I did not know about National Guard or reserves. I just knew about you just get it. And then once
Hmm.
I heard about the Nat being part time, I was like, let's see what this part time thing is talking about. And I'm glad. I'm actually glad on my side, but I'm happy and sad at the same time that I'm National Guard because I'm happy that because I came into the military, I got my stepping stone, and I could transition later. I'm sad because the coronavirus is not much things you can do because everybody out here is crazy and stuff like that. And being in the military right now would save me from all of this craziness.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
that's
They
that's
they're
why I
doing a
said
good
it was
job.
good. Yes, that's why I was like it was good and it was good and bad. But the good thing about it is once I left AIT, I get to go home and see my family. I know people that was in that's active cannot go see their family. You know, they gotta go straight
Mhm.
to their duty station or wherever they stationed at.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
where I'm
that's
at right now.
okay.
I
So
can.
now that you left for home actually and you had to get your orders from your recruiter, correct? To
Correct.
say
So you go back to your recruiter right before you leave,
okay,
and then you go to MEPS and you ship from there. You usually stay the night in a hotel before
okay.
you ship out,
Mhm.
and your parents can come watch you and say goodbye to you before you leave. And then they just drive you to an airport, give you your orders, and they say get on the plane, and there'll be somebody there to meet you. So
Okay. Now, question for you: did you have a bonus?
I did not,
Mhm.
because the job I was going for is very competitive to get in the first place, and then I
Mhm.
also got airborne in my contract. So that's enough incentive as it is.
So, was the airborne a bonus at all, or just hey, you're going to airborne school?
No, that I actually requested because during my time in ROTC, I learned about airborne school and air assault school, and I figured
Mhm.
out I really want to do that. So when I went into the recruiter, I said I want a 35 series with airborne on it, and so that was considered my incentive.
Okay, okay. Now that you shift gears in a little bit, now that you flew off from what state and city you're from?
I'm from New Jersey. I flew out of New York though.
Oh, okay, cousin then. I'm from
Yeah, yeah.
I'm from
Yep, I
Brooklyn,
know.
so so you probably went from JFK or LaGuardia, right? All
JFK.
right.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so that's understandable. So now that you arrived in South Carolina and you met with the drill sergeant for the first time that was standing there. What was your first
Yep.
impression of that?
So you get off the plane, and we were in South Carolina. So I got off at Columbia Airport, I believe,
Yeah.
and there's nobody in the airport. It was like 10 o'clock at night.
Oh yeah,
Everything
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
closed. It
Everything's
was
fine.
just a bunch of 18 to 25-year-olds with backpacks on, looking real scared.
Mhm.
We got off the plane and started walking, and we were like, "Huh, I wonder where we're gonna get picked up." And we
Mhm.
rounded a corner, and there was a drill sergeant in his Class B's, so his
Okay.
the like white T-shirt dress uniform, just
Yeah.
yelling at everyone to get in line. And we stood in line for a couple minutes, and then they walked us out to a bus, and
Mhm.
that's when it all started.
Okay. So now that you're on the bus, tell me what happened from the bus ride until you see from the other videos and stuff. What was your impression of that when you got there?
So actually, what a lot of people think is, you ship to basic training, and the what turns out to be the actual shark attack is what happens when you get there, but it's not, because you have to
Mhm.
go to reception, get your uniforms and whatnot. So you hop on the bus, and you go to Fort Jackson. You pull into a really dilapidated looking barracks area,
Mhm.
and you get off the bus and make you do a couple push-ups, maybe yell at you a little bit to kind of get your heart rate going and everything. And then you go do paperwork, and you end up going and getting your uniforms. So by the time we were done with everything, it was like 3:30 in the morning. Uh,
Mhm.
and then they said, "Okay, everyone go upstairs and put your uniform on. We're starting the day now." So we didn't actually go to bed at all that night. Uh, it was a long 48 hours for sure.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if you've seen me at the time, but everybody looked alike once they got their head shaved. So what company was you in at reception? Because I think I was in B company or C. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Here, let's see if you remember this. If you
Okay.
walked towards the barracks, right, you had one
Yeah,
on
yeah,
your
yeah.
left, one on your right, and one
The
right
one
in
in the
front of
middle.
you.
Yeah.
I was the one in the middle.
Oh, okay, okay. You was in the middle. I was on the one to your left. Okay.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
probably why I didn't say it. But all right, now you did all of that. How was reception for you? Like the reception. What do you think of it?
Reception's kind of like a weird, like, purgatory feeling, right? Because the drill
Hmm.
sergeants don't really like mess with you that much while you're there, unless you
Yeah.
really mess up. Then they'll get on you. But for the most part, you're just standing in line, being quiet, reading your blue book, getting your
Hmm.
head shaved, doing paperwork. But then after the first like 2 or 3 days, they kind of have nothing else for you to do. So They'll send you
Yeah.
upstairs, and a bunch of guys with no military experience yet whatsoever, just living in a bay, no idea what's going on. So
Yeah, true that. Like I don't know, but we made games and stuff like that. They were doing push-up competition. I don't know if you knew this. You remember Sullivan from our platoon, right?
yep.
He was our bay boss, and every time he asked for a fire guard, I didn't. I ain't want to because I heard about fire guard, and I'm no, they ain't gonna catch me slipping on fire guard. They ain't
Yeah,
gonna
that
catch
was
me.
that was the worst part, because nobody knew what fire guard was or what the repercussions of not doing fire guard were.
Yes, we
So
didn't know. Yeah.
yeah, there were people skipping it. They don't really give you a lot of information at reception. So reception's this weird week where you're just very confused all
Mhm.
day, every day, no idea what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that first week, I could say because I think they said what reception is 3 to 5 days, and then remember we had that little holiday, so we didn't
Hmm.
start basic training till Tuesday.
Yeah, we had a long reception, and it actually turned out good for me because uh, your company at reception didn't have enough people to go to basics, so they split up mine. I ended up
Mhm.
going to ship with you guys, and the people that didn't go, that were my friends from reception, didn't graduate for like 2 weeks after us. So they had to go back after Christmas and finish up and everything, and so I got really lucky being with you guys.
So you telling me that since you was in that reception, you would have got graduate 2 weeks later?
Yeah, they left them. They didn't ship another class out for another 2 weeks. So the people that were in my reception company had to stay there for 3 weeks. I left after the first one with like 20 other
Oh,
people, and the rest of them just stayed and had to wait to go to the next basic training company that was ready.
wow. So that was a good thing. That was a good thing.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. Okay, so now it's that Tuesday. That what talk we got at like 6, 7 o'clock or 8?
yeah. They had us all bring our bags outside, ready to go,
Yeah,
and it
because
was
they
pretty
had no whole weekend.
relaxed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty relaxed. We were just kind of hanging out, like sitting around, and then you see all the buses pull up, and all of your brand new drill sergeants get off, just staring at you. They don't say anything to you, and you're at
Oh, they
reception,
didn't say
but
nothing
you
to us.
see,
They just look.
they just look at you. You're like, "Uh-oh, this is not good news."
So, tell me how about your bus ride? How was that bus ride?
So basically, the second you get on the bus, they close the doors, and you immediately get yelled at to put your head in the bag. You can't look around. You gotta go like this and just not look at anything. I don't know if that's because they don't want you to track your way out. So like later on, you could reverse the footsteps and run away. I don't know what the point of that is.
Yeah,
Uh,
me neither.
but the second you're on the bus, you're already getting yelled at. There's like what, one drill sergeant per bus, something like that.
Yeah, it was one. I think Drill Sergeant Castro was in my bus.
I had drill sergeant Harris, so
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah.
Because I think when we got off the bus, he got up and looked at us. He didn't say nothing for a good 20 seconds. He was just looking. I was like, damn, what the fuck, man? And our heads supposed to be in our bags and shit. And he's like, all right, get off the fucking bus. You know how he is.
Yep,
Get off my
yep.
bus. So
That deep voice, that deep manly
yeah,
voice.
yeah, get off my bus. And then we running. We didn't see them. We didn't see nobody like outside. But once we started running, I was like, where the hell all these people just come from?
Yeah, they're just lining the sidewalk. You just have somebody in your face each side every second you're running. I don't even know. I
Yeah.
don't even know how many people were there. Like it felt like there were way more people than just our drill sergeants for our company. Now looking
Yes.
back on it, actually.
Yeah. So it was. I think somebody fell. Yeah, I talked to Scafoni. She said she fell and things like that. So what would your? So how did you rate that shark attack?
Honestly, I'd say the shark attack was not that bad, in my opinion. What was worse was when you finally got in your platoon and went up to your bay. That's
Mm-hmm.
when it got bad. That's in my mind when it got worse. Like the shark attack, we did some PT or whatever. You're holding your bag above your head. It's just kind of like a shock and awe feeling, having like a bunch of people in your face screaming at you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it humbles you for sure, because you're just like, what is happening around me? You're not supposed to know what's going on. And I think it worked for all of us, because I think everyone was like just completely lost in the sauce at that point.
Yeah, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on, man. I made sure I seen all the YouTube videos, everything. I was cramming them in, and stuff like that. But it's act like it didn't even help because like the video is one point, but the experience is totally left.
Yeah, you don't want to look at anybody. You don't want to look anybody in the eye. You just want to be hidden. And at one point or another, every single person during shark attack will get yelled at. Like there's no doubt about it.
Even if you do something right, you're getting yelled at.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It doesn't matter
So,
what you do.
so what you think about day 0 and day 2? Actually, day 1 to 2.
Day 1 to 2. I feel like it was a lot of formalities. You're starting off brand new, and they kind of have to teach you just how to act right at all times because people's attitudes are still there. Some people come into basic and still, even with people screaming in their face, don't care and still have that attitude. So they're trying to just kind of like strip everyone.
Check him.
Yeah, exactly. Check everyone and see who's going to be the problem. And like at the same time as you're feeling them out, they're feeling you out a little bit and trying to see who's going to be the problem and everything. So as long as you don't really draw attention to yourself, day 1 and 2 isn't that bad. But in the end, you'll get corrective training for anything day 1 or 2.
It was no corrective training. I see. It was no corrective training. I think it was no corrective training because you get smoked for the littlest shit. Why is a fucking piece of paper on the floor? Half right,
Yeah.
Damn.
You have to go into basic just expecting to be doing push-ups for anything. Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is.
Did you remember that time when Drill Sergeant Harris was smoking y'all, and I came up from sick call, and she told me to join?
Yeah, you had just walked back in, and we were all getting destroyed, just slayed. I forget what we were doing, but I was like, the walls were sweating, and you just walked in, and you were like, this is not good.
Yeah. And then she was like, hey, Wilson, you came back from sick call. You could join us. I was like, what?
I was no regard. Upset. No regard.
Huh? I was oh my God. That's the story I could tell my kids for years, man. Yeah. How I got smoked and I didn't even know what happened. And I still don't know what happened. I wasn't even there. All right. Yeah. Oh man, that was so funny, man. But yeah, so what you think of red phase, the whole overall red phase and stuff like that?
So red phase, I feel like, is the phase where the drill sergeants don't really know everyone yet. They're trying to learn everyone. But at that point, you don't really have a personality anymore. Like you just have to get out there and just listen and do what they say. And the problems come from just not doing the little things right. Like they don't expect you to know everything, but they expect you to just do the little things, focus on what you're doing all the time and try to do the little things right. And you probably get smoked the most during red phase just because it's the first 3 weeks and you're still trying to feel everyone out, and you don't really have any good friends yet or anything. It takes a while because you're not supposed to really talk to each other that much other than when you're in the bay. So yeah, it's rough. It was definitely it's a humbling experience the first 3 weeks because you're still trying to figure out what you're doing while everyone else is too.
So let me ask you this. I talked to the other 2 females about the female bay. They had problems and stuff like that in their bays. In our bay, did you have any beef with anybody or any problems with anybody, or you seen problems with anybody in red phase?
I don't think during red phase we really had anyone have any issues. I never really had beef with anyone at basic. I kind of just kept my mouth shut and just, did what I had to do. But I'd say the beef really came as we were together longer and longer and longer. Like once you get towards the end of basic and people start to know who people are, that's when the most problems definitely arise, was like towards the end when people were just tired of each other and just wanted to get out of there.
So would you say it was intense or it was doable? Like, because I was telling Scafoni yesterday that, our group of people that came into basic was like almost 25 and up. We had a few 18-year-olds, but it was basically an older crowd.
Yeah.
So you think because people was a little bit older, the beef, it wasn't that much beef and was like younger kids?
Yeah, I would say that that's pretty fair. I think like the more mature people are before they get there, the better. I think most of the problems were from the younger people. I was 20 years
Mm-hmm.
old when I went to basic. Um, but like the people that were straight out of high school kind of had a chip on their shoulder, I felt like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where a lot of the problems came from. Uh, and then just like you just butt heads naturally. You know,
Yeah.
you're living in a giant room with 50 people. Most people have lived in their bedroom by themselves for the first
By
18 years of
himself.
their
Yeah.
life. And
Mm-hmm.
now you have to clean, you have to shower, you have to use the bathroom, you have to brush your teeth, you have to make your bed next to somebody at all times. Like there's always somebody there. You don't have a second alone at basic. You will never be alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that just causes people to have, stress and whatnot throughout it. So I think that's where the problems came from.
Okay. Okay. Good deal. So the title of the stream is "So You Are My PG," right? So
Yeah.
out of all the PGs we had, who did you like, and including yourself as the PG? And what actually before that, what is a PG for people to understand?
So the PG is basically the platoon guide. So it'll be one person who's selected by the drill sergeants, who takes accountability, makes sure everyone's there at all times. But most importantly, the PG's job when you're out in the field is to be the leader for the platoon. So
Mm-hmm.
you're in charge of again making sure everyone's there, but also keeping morale up and everything. And that's what I really prided myself on when we were out in
Mm-hmm.
the field was trying to keep everyone with a little bit higher spirits, because when it's dark and tired, you don't really want to be doing anything. Just
Yeah.
naturally, you just want to like go to sleep. But we had a couple really good PGs. I think Ray was probably one of the
Oh,
best
Ray. Yeah.
ones.
He was the
Yeah,
longest baby
like
horse.
yeah, that man was about as clean cut as you could get. He was always
Yeah.
on top of everything. Um, who even was our first PG? Like I don't
I
even
don't
remember, to be honest
remember.
with you. Like our red phase PG, I don't even know who it was. But I ended up being PG for a couple weeks, and it was the Anvil and then the Forge. I was
Yeah.
the PG from.
You did really good on the forge because I know it's that long forge, it broke a lot of people, but at least some of us made it, things like that. And everybody did say that you was a good PG because I think you said you was a PG at the Anvil, then you took what a week or two off because I think somebody else was PG, and then we all nominated you to become PG again because you had good expectation, you had respect from everybody, and that was a shock to me, because every PG we had was fired, and if we
Mm-hmm.
all agreed upon to having you as the PG again, that showed a lot of respect from the people that was there, and plus your leadership role. So that also counts as much.
Yeah, that humbled me to hear people say that. That's kind of what you want to get at the end of basic. You want to have people respect you for what you did, what you said, and how you acted.
Yeah.
And it felt good to not only have friends, but also have people that I wasn't necessarily like friends with, battle buddies with, that was always with me. So
Yeah, it was certain individuals, I don't say their names, that wasn't too, my cup of tea per se, that, even though we would be in the somewhat trenches together, I would help them. I'm like, I'm not fucking with you on a daily basis, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
wish.
no,
And I'm a cool, level-headed guy. I don't like to hurt people, but trust me, it was a lot of people I wanted to hurt, but I just kept that to myself. But
yeah, I
that's
mean, yeah.
that's here or there. But so explain to me and the viewers, how was PT for you and the PT test for you? And did you like the new PT test or you like the old PT test?
All right, so because I had done ROTC for 2 years in college, you actually tests all the time. So I had
Mm-hmm.
taken many APFTs before. Um, Before I got there, I'd probably taken like 10 or 12 APFTs.
Mm-hmm.
So I was pretty prepared physically when I got there. Um, Now, APFT versus ACFT, for people who don't know, the ACFT is the combat fitness test, which is the new one
Yeah.
that's coming around. That one's like a 6-part. So the APFT is push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run.
Yes.
And the new one, as you know, is you have like leg tucks and hand release push-ups and a ball throw and a sprint drag carry. Um, and I like the ACFT more because I feel like it's actually a full body exercise. Like you are actually testing every part of someone's body, you know, upper body
Yes.
strength, legs, cardiovascular. PT at basic is kind of tedious. Like, I don't know if you remember, Wilson, but for the first couple weeks, you're just learning all of the prep drills and the conditioning
Mhm.
drills and whatnot. So you don't actually you don't, other than the running, you're just learning how to do all of the workouts.
Okay.
So for a while it wasn't too bad, but then as you go on further and further and they start to realize that you know what you're doing a bit more, then they definitely like up the ante a little bit as you go along. Because the run, I don't know if you remember, the first time we did 6120s at basic,
Oh
we only
yeah.
did we only did like 3. But by the
61,
end,
20. Yeah, because
by
we
the
did.
end
I
you're
think
at,
we did 30 60s or something like that,
yeah,
and
we
we
started
started
at
30
3060.
60s. Yeah.
And you only do a small amount, and then by the time you're at the end of basic, you're doing 10 to 12, and it's not even an issue anymore. So
Hmm.
it's they up the ante as time goes on, expecting people to not be in as good a shape when they get there, but they'll get you in good shape by the end.
So my question is to you: do you think people should have got in shape a little bit before basic training? Because I don't know if you know, but I wasn't even in the best of shape, but I managed to survive and get up out of there.
Yeah, no, that I I always said I was super proud of you because you came in not in good shape and
Hmm.
you worked every day, every single day you worked. And at the end of the day, if you're going to come in not good shape, you have to have that mindset that you had, which was every day you go to PT, you got to give 100% if you expect to get out of there. um, but if I had a recommendation to people, it would be at least the couple of months before you leave, 2 or 3 months before you leave, to really practice body weight exercises, maybe lift weights. But if you've never lifted weights before, keep it lightweight and just try and get your body to be a little bit more toned, because you will get in better shape when you're at basic regardless.
Yes.
But just to show up with a good baseline is probably like, they don't expect you to be Arnold Schwarzenegger when you show up and deadlift 800 pounds. Like they just want you to, you know,
Keep
get
up.
out there and give it like exactly. Just keep up with their expectations.
Yeah. That's good, man. That's good because I know when you was there and I was there, I started off at 8 push-ups. And then I progressed
Mm-hmm.
to almost 40 push-ups. So that was remarkable, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was blown away by how it turned out
And
at the end for you.
and the crazy thing about the working out and stuff, like Drill Sergeant Q said, if you show us the effort, we will help you. And that's what my main goal was. I know I couldn't do no push-ups. I know I couldn't do my shoot. I think you was there. You and Moore was there when I had like that 35-minute run.
Yeah, yeah, that was the first APFT, right? Like 6 days into basic or something like that.
Yes, and
Yeah,
even though that sucked ass, but hey, I got from freaking 35 minutes to 17. That's remarkable.
badass. That's badass.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
shit, that I mean, I wish I could. I'm trying now. I'm trying to get under 17. Even though with the new PT test, my run time is 21, but that spring drag carry, woo, that shit
Yeah,
got.
yeah. The sprint track carry, that thing's rough.
Okay, so what do you like the new PT test? Two PT
Yeah,
test.
I love it. I love it. I think it fits my. I'm in pretty good shape right now, but I'd say
Hmm.
that it fits. I'm more of like an athletic shape than just
Hmm.
pure strength. So
Hmm.
I like the events because they're more athletic based. Like people who played sports and whatnot in high school would be very familiar with a lot of it.
Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
So, what do you now that we out of red face? What you think about white face?
Weapons, weapons, weapons. Shooting, shooting, shooting. Cleaning, cleaning, cleaning. Cold, cold, cold. That's literally it. You're just
Cold
outside
and rainy.
all
Can't
day.
forget cold and rainy.
Cold and rainy. Yeah, not just cold. It's raining on you if you're at Jackson. Uh, but yeah, I mean, white phase it's definitely more of a learning phase than red phase because you're learning more about your weapon. You're learning more about how to shoot. You're at the range a lot. Like we were at the range all the time, trying to qualify and whatnot. It's a stressful phase because for a lot of people who've never touched weapons before basic, and now all of a sudden you have one and you're expected to perform with it. So I loved it though. Like I love shooting and I loved everything about it. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yes. Shoot. What was your qualification on CCO and Iron Sights, if you remember?
I shot 38 on irons and 40 on CCOs.
So you basically an expert. So that's good to know.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
Good to go. I was clean.
you're good to go, man. Shit.
Yeah.
Some people didn't make it shooting at all. I heard some people got like a 5 to 10, or and they didn't shoot to almost what the week before the forge or the week after the forge. Because
Yeah.
they
It
just
trips
couldn't
up a
hit.
lot of people. It trips up a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I mean,
It's a
shooting
hard
wasn't too
challenge.
hard. I don't think. Do you think shooting was hard?
No, not at all. And I mean, I grew up, with weapons around and learning how to handle and shoot. So anyone with a weapons background will have no problem whatsoever. Even if you don't have a weapons background, if you just pay attention to what they say and really focus on the fundamentals they give you, you'll be fine, 100%.
Okay. So now that we out of red face and white face, what you think of the hammer anvil hammer and anvil first, because the forge is another thing for itself.
So because of, like I said earlier, ROTC, I'd been in the field before, but for a lot of people, they probably never slept outside in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I remember, I don't know if you remember, but the hammer, it was pouring rain for like
Oh, that
almost the
remember I
whole
got
thing.
bit and went to sick call that day.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got bit
that
by
was,
something.
yeah. It was pouring rain. It was cold. You gotta just put your sleep system down and try and get some sleep. You're pulling security, so you're not really sleeping. And I think that really broke a lot of people because it was the first time you really experienced like being outside and whatnot and what being in the army actually is. And then the anvil was exactly the same thing, but it was 2 nights. So
Mm.
you're just sucking for even longer, basically.
Yes, man. Ooh. So, what drill sergeant that you had a bond with or like to at basic? Who did you admire the most?
I'd say Drill Sergeant Q, who was our senior of our platoon. He always had our best interest in mind. Didn't always mean that you were going to get what you wanted, obviously, but he always wanted us to do well in everything we did. He expected 100% out of you at all times. And in the end, he was very supportive of me when I was PG. And when a drill sergeant tells you they're proud of you,
Mm-hmm.
it goes a long way. It makes you feel really good about yourself because it means you did something right, because they don't say that often at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah. Well, who I liked at basic as a leadership was Lieutenant Giuliano
That's what I was
and
gonna say.
Drill Sergeant Castro. I don't know why, but I don't know. I understood Drill Sergeant Castro for some reason. I just did. I don't know why. I just
Yeah.
understood him so much, and then come to find out, Lieutenant Giuliano's from Staten Island.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's why I was like, I understand now. I see why I vibe with him the most. And also we in the same MOS too, so that's a
Mm-hmm.
plus.
Yeah.
Um, but I really didn't vibe with other drill sergeants like that. Besides, Drill Sergeant Castro the most, and Drill Sergeant Harris. She was a little hands on. Drill Sergeant Q, he had his days. Let's just say that he had his days. And
Yep.
the funniest drill
Absolutely.
sergeant I like was Drill Sergeant Gabriel. Oh my god, I have stories for Drill Sergeant Gabriel. He's just funny all around, funny drill sergeant. Man.
That's the
He
funny thing
is.
about basic. You'll never forget your drill sergeants. Like, I will never forget who they were for me throughout your time at basic, because they're the person that you look to for guidance 24 hours a day, because you
Yeah.
literally don't choose anything.
Yes.
So, Drill Sergeant Castro, fun fact, we were his first cycle. And you would have never known that.
What?
Yeah, we were him and Drill Sergeant Harris. We were their first cycle. So, you
Wow.
never know what their background is until the end, when they tell you right before you graduate or on graduation day. I found out that we were their first ones, and you never
See,
know. You never know.
that's something where I messed up. I didn't experience the graduation with y'all. For a fun fact, for people that don't know, I didn't pass my PT test the last time, and I didn't get recycled. That was a good thing. It just I went to a fitness training unit. What they didn't really do fitness. So I just took another PT test and passed it. But it was my fault because I should have passed the last PT test, and I gave up on that run. I did everything right. It just that run got me, and I was like, fuck this. I really said it on the run. I said, fuck this run. I basically said that and got a 22-minute run time, and that
Mhm.
caused me to get sent away. And we were supposed to take that PT test that Friday. No, I left Friday, stayed there for the weekend. Supposed to take that PT test Monday, and then I could graduate with y'all on Tuesday. They didn't even give us the PT test. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Like
I remember that.
that video, that would be another video FTC altogether. But I did meet some interesting guys that I met at AIT, but I'm just mad as shit that I couldn't took the PT test on that Monday because if I took the PT test there and I gave it my all when I was there with you, then I would have made it. Then we could graduate all. But either way, I graduated regardless if I was there with y'all then or I'm a week or two behind, and I still graduated. And crazy fact about it is some people that graduated before me, which was in our company, I left early because of my MOS. I'm like, damn, you
Hmm.
still in AIT? And I was like, it's strange how I didn't graduate with y'all, but I made it out before y'all.
Yeah, I'm still at my AIT. I graduated
Yeah,
3 months ago.
yeah. Lucky for you.
Yeah.
How long? Well, we'll get into that. But yeah, that would happen to me if you didn't know. Because I didn't tell people what happened after I left the platoon.
Hmm.
I was supposed to take that PT test Monday. I couldn't. Man, it took a whole 2 weeks before they gave me that PT test. The drill sergeant there didn't want to do shit with us.
Yeah, of
We
course
did
not.
PT maybe one time out of 2 weeks. All we did was
Wow,
sat there, played cards, ate, and went to sleep. I was like, well, I understand. I understand.
that's
So I
crazy.
was happy I graduated after VBL, went to my AIT, act like nothing happened. But
Hmm.
that's my side. So let me ask you this. You was nominated PG. Now to be clarified, did we nominate you to be PG for the Forge, or did the drill sergeant say, "Hey Kelly, I need you to be for the PG for the Forge"?
Uh, so drill sergeant, it was the day. It was our last day of combatives before the forge. It
Yeah.
was like 2 or 3 days before we left. We were in the sand pit, and drill sergeant pulled our whole platoon together and just said, "Hey, Kelly, you're PG now until the end." So I was
Who
like,
said
"Oh,
that?
okay." It was drill sergeant Q, I believe,
Okay.
that said that. Um, and congratulated Ray, who was the PG during that time, because he
Yeah,
really
because
did
he
a
didn't
great
do nothing
job.
wrong. Yeah.
No, absolutely not. He did a great job. I just think it came down to like my prior experience with being out in the field and whatnot, and just the fact that I had been in the field during the Anvil as PG, and I kind of knew what I was doing already,
Mhm.
and it turned out really well. So I'm very thankful for that.
Okay, so now that you're PG for the Forge, tell everybody what was the Forge and what was your role, and did you enjoy the Forge?
So the Forge is a 4-day long field type experience, but you're not just in the field setting up patrol bases and then pulling security. You have a lot of things you do during that time. So
Hmm.
during the Forge, we did obstacle courses. We went to night infiltration course. Um, we we did pupils at one point. Um, so you're kind of bouncing between being in a patrol base, which is what you would actually do if you were in a combat type situation, and then going and doing very high physical strenuous activity and rucking a lot. So you have your ruck on the whole time, and you're rucking between places. And I think altogether we did like something around 45 miles over the 4 days.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd say my role in this whole thing was I enjoy rucking. I love it. I love the field. But a lot of people, especially people who are smaller in stature, have a hard time carrying all that weight and and continuing on in the middle of the night when we haven't slept in 18 hours. So my main role really was when you're rucking, you have everyone on the left and the right side of you in a line, and The drill sergeants put me in the middle with them, and I would literally run up and down the line, making sure everyone was okay. A lot of people got really bad blisters, so I was talking to
Yes.
people.
Ooh. Yes, a lot of people got blisters.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
very bad blisters. Those basic training boots are the worst by far you will ever wear in your career. So I was just basically running up and down all day, making sure everyone was okay, making sure everyone was there, and just trying to help people as much as I could throughout the time that we were out there for those 4 days. And then the end of the forge, for people who don't know, is where you are basically crowned a soldier. And you get your U.S. Army patch on your shoulder for your unit patch. And it's like the culminating exercise, I guess you could say, of basic training.
Okay. And now explain to viewers and I what was the soldier ceremony after like the last few hours of the forge.
So we ended the forge with this culminating like infantry type exercise where you go through the woods with your weapons, and they throw multiple situations at you and you have to react and whatnot. But as soon as that was over, we knew we were done. That was the last thing we were doing. And mind you, it's December. It's cold. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning when we finished. Yeah, it was cold. It was real cold. So we put our rucks up on the trucks. Because we were pretty far away from our company, and they finish it off with the soldier ceremony right after that, which is right around the corner from this last exercise. So you walk up this big hill and you go out to Hilton Field. I know other bases do the same soldier ceremony thing. They just don't do it on a field. So if someone's going to like Sill or anything like that, you'll just go to a different place. But we went out to a field, and your drill sergeants come around, and they basically, the battalion commander goes up in front of you and gives you this speech about what you have just completed and everything. And then your drill sergeants come around and give you your patch, which symbolizes you completing basic training and becoming a soldier.
Yes, I was there for the soldier ceremony. Even though I didn't partake in the soldier ceremony, I was there. So that was a good thing. Um,
Oh, and your berets too. That's another.
berets, yes, berets, yes.
That's a symbological thing. Symbological? I don't even know what the word is.
I don't even know
It's
this
another
word.
symbolic. It's a symbolic thing.
Okay.
For graduating basic. So the difference between somebody who's in basic and hasn't graduated and has graduated are people walking around with berets. So.
Okay. So now that the soldier ceremony is over and things like that, how did you like the victory phase?
You do nothing, honestly. The last like week of basic after you're done with the forge before your graduation is really spent cleaning your gear. You just sit around and clean like all day basically. Or if you're some of the guys in our platoon, you go sit in the bathroom in the bay and just hope you don't get caught.
Yeah, I was there. I was always in the toilet. Yeah, that's what he's snoring.
I didn't really spend much time up there because, like I said, I was PG during this time, so I was trying to like be downstairs and be a good example. But it would have been nice to sit up in the bathroom for a little bit. But you clean, you sit around, and then you go to CIF and you turn all your gear back in, and then that's basically the end of it. You have a couple days before graduation. You get your haircut, and then you practice graduation and go have family day. So.
Okay, how did you enjoy family day and graduation?
Family day was great because me and my parents have a very good relationship, and they drove down and they were there for family day, and we really just kind of sat in the car and talked, and I told them all about what I'm talking about right now, about what had happened, because you get like 3 phone calls all basic. It's not enough time to really like tell them anything. You're just kind of like, hey, how's everything going? But during family day, you can go anywhere on base with your parents, and then you go back at night and you have a final formation, and then graduation was actually really cool for me because of the whole soldier leader of the cycle thing. I got an award, and I got to meet the commanding general of the base, the CG, and the command sergeant major with my parents and my girlfriend there, which was really nice.
So, how did you get Soldier of the Cycle?
So each platoon nominates one person So then you go do what's called a board. So in the Army, a board is where you go in front of high-ranking people. It could be your first sergeant. So for us, it was our first sergeant and then all of our senior drill sergeants. And you basically just get reamed questions for however long they want. So for me, my interview was probably about 20 to 25 minutes, where they were just asking me Army knowledge questions, which they expected me to know, but then also like moral compass questions. So what I would do in certain situations and whatnot, and ask me about leadership. And then at the end, out of the 4 people, they come out and they tell you who won. And then your parents get to sit in some special VIP section during graduation, and you get to meet the general and everything. But it's all up to the drill sergeants who gets nominated for that.
So explain what type of questions did they ask you? Like you just said, like what do you, if you remember, what did they ask you per se?
So they asked me like the basic sort of questions, like clear this weapon and show us how to do a functions check. And I had to explain it, go through it step by step, and why I was doing everything. And then they said, here's a radio, turn it on, set to the right channels, and then get on this frequency and perform a radio check. So then I had to go through all that. And then they were asking me questions about the Army values. They asked me to sing the Army song. They asked me, God, what else? The moral questions were, basic things you'd expect people to say, which were, they asked me, the one question that sticks out in my mind was, what would you do if one of your friends that was a soldier was found to be like beating their spouse? And why would you do what you would do? And so you just got to answer it truthfully and kind of whatever you think is right in that moment. And they base their decision off of everyone's answers and if they answered the knowledge questions correctly.
Okay. Well, congratulations on winning Soldier Cycle and everything.
Thank you.
Did that help you with promotion points? What is your rank?
PFC. So I'm in private first class now. I actually went in as an E1. I got wavered in basic from E1 to E2. So I skipped like the 4 months I would have been E1 because it's 6 months from E1 to E2. And then I got wavered again when I graduated AIT here to be a private first class.
Okay. So now that you're a private first class, how long do you have to until you become an E4?
I believe it's 8 to 12 months. 8 if you're wavered, 12 months just straight up PFC to E4.
So wait, so if you waiver 8 months, so if you're not wavered, you said 12 months?
Yeah,
12 months?
Yeah,
12 months until you signed, or 12 months being out of basic training in AIT?
It's 12 months of being an E3.
12 months of being an E3. Damn. I should be promoted by now. It's only 14 months. I didn't see that on my paycheck yet. Oh, well, that's another story. But anyways, okay. Now that we did, how did you like your overall experience? Well, this is going to be a 2-part question. How did you like your overall experience of basic training, and do you recommend this to anybody else?
I loved basic training. Honestly, like in the moment, a lot of it, you're just sitting there going, why am I doing this? What is this about? But in the end, I turned out loving it because it teaches you, one, a lot about yourself, because you learn what you're capable of, and what you can do if you set your mind to it. 2, it teaches you about other people and people that are willing to go out of their way to help you and be friends with you and do whatever you need. And then people you don't really need in your life. There are both types of people you'll meet there. Overall, it's just a great experience for anyone. I would recommend it to every single person if you didn't have to do military experience after it, because I know that signing 3 years, 4 years of your life to the military is not for everyone. But the experience of basic training itself could be beneficial to every single person, I feel like.
And why is that?
It's like I said, the fact that it teaches you a lot about yourself, and a lot of people don't like to push themselves out of their comfort zones. People don't want to get up early in the morning and go work out. This is going to make you every day get up in the morning and go work out. People don't want to be told what to do. This teaches you how to respect people that are above you and do what you're told. it just teaches you kind of how to put your head down and work, because I know work ethic for a lot of people is a hard thing to find, especially when it comes to like physical training and whatnot. It's just an all around humbling experience that it's a good thing everyone in the military shares, because even now everyone still talks about it. Everyone still references it because we're all on the same frequency when it comes to basic
Yeah.
training. Everyone has to go through it, you know?
Yeah. So now that you graduate and you took your 2 week off, because if people don't know, if you went in October, that's why I would recommend my subscribers to go to basic training in October, because you get that 2 week off and you could go home and reassess, relax and breath. So what did you do when you went home for your 2 weeks?
I didn't do very much, to be honest. I saw my girlfriend stay with me basically the whole time. I was at my home with my parents, and I had a lot of friends from home that were home for Christmas from college. So everyone was meeting up and hanging out. And really, it's just a really good time to kind of reconnect
Mm-hmm.
with everyone, because for so long, 10 weeks in retrospect doesn't sound like a lot of time, but
But it's long.
I'd like to challenge anyone to go 10 weeks without talking to basically anyone. You talk to
Mm-hmm.
just like certain people, and come back and let me know how that goes, because it's not
Yeah.
fun. So it's a good time to reconnect with who you are as a person outside of the military, because for so long you're being told what to do all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and you're kind of suppressing who you are while you're there. But going home is just a great way to kind of reconnect with the people that you love, and who you are.
Okay, great. Now, this is the second part of the interview. Now, since we talked about your experience, where you came from in basic training and all that, we're going to talk about your airborne contract and your AIT. So, explain to people that don't know, what is airborne contract and how did you get airborne contract and what is airborne?
So Airborne is an Army school. So
Hmm.
there's a ton of schools you can go to in the Army, but basically, Airborne school is to train paratroopers, people who do combat jumps out of airplanes. So if you want it in your contract, you one have to get a high Asvab score depending on what job you're going to. Two, it kind of just depends on how many slots they have open to give away. And three, you just got to be lucky with a good recruiter who's willing to work for you.
Hmm.
Um, so what a lot of people don't know too about schools in the Army and whatnot is Airborne's actually offered at most AITs. You can try and volunteer for it depending on your PT score and whatnot. So a
Hmm.
lot of my friends volunteered while we were at AIT, and got it. I had it in contract, so I had to go. I was bound to go.
Yes.
Um, so it's a 3 week school. You get the weekends off. It's at Fort Benning in Georgia, and it's 2 weeks of learning how to jump out of planes. And then the third week, you just do it for 5 days. You do 5 jumps.
Okay. So, how is AIT now? What is your? I know you told me, but can you explain what's your job, what you're doing in AIT? How is your job in AIT basically? What's your day to day in AIT?
Okay, so 35 Fox AIT here at Fort Huachuca in Arizona. It's a lot like the other 35 series, which are also here, Mikes and Tangos. So it's an intelligence analyst. So we're really learning how to just take all sorts of intelligence, put it together, and turn it into a plan for a mission. Um,
Mhm.
so my normal day looked like we had PT. We had to be outside on the PT field at 04:45. You do PT from 5 to 6, and then you get about an hour and 15 minutes to come back up to your room. You can go get breakfast at the DFAC. You can come back up here, shower, put on your OCPs, kind of do whatever you want for an hour. Usually I just like to, sit on my phone and relax for a little bit, especially if it was a hard workout. And then 7:15, you have formation. 7:30, we'd walk about a mile to our school. And then we were at school from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30 at night,
Mhm.
17:30, with a lunch break and then 2 30-minute breaks. And then you come back here at about 1800, 18:30, so 6:30 at night. You could figure out dinner for yourself, and then you had to be in your room by 7:45, 19:45 every night, and you just do that every day. And my AIT was 4 months long.
4 months long. Wow. Well, congratulate you on that. When do you expect to graduate for AIT?
So I graduated AIT on May 1st.
Okay.
I've been stuck here because of COVID and everything. So military movement right now for active duty it's very hard for them to get. It's hard for them to get planes and whatnot, as you could imagine.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting on a flight, which is finally coming on Thursday.
Hmm.
And then you go to your school, and I'm going to graduate from that sometime in the near future and be at my duty station. So.
Okay, so you're going to be at Benning for 3 weeks, and then you're going to go to where's your duty station? And did you pick your duty station? Your duty station picked you.
So it's Fort Bragg, North Carolina, one of the biggest bases in the country, and you get to put down when you're active duty. You get to put down what duty stations you would like. You get to rank them,
Hmm.
and a lot of the time they don't really take that into account. But Fort Bragg was my number one, and I ended up getting it. So
Why
must have
was
worked
Fort
out
Bragg
for
your
me.
number one?
I wanted to go to Fort Bragg because the units there are very good. I want to go to a unit that is deployable. So I'm very happy I got to go to a good unit there. It's the home of special operations. So if I want to
Hmm.
get into the special operations field later on, I could find people to talk to get me into that. Um, and also, it's only 7 hours from home, so
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I could go home pretty easily.
Yeah. So, what was your second and third choice when you put on your dream sheet thing?
So you get to put three out of country and three in country. My number one out of country was Hawaii, which of
Oh,
course,
I
who
love.
doesn't want to go to Hawaii?
Yes. Yes.
uh,
Hey, I wish I was active duty. I wanted to pick Hawaii, um, Hawaii, Germany. I did not want to do Korea, and I did not want to do Alaska. I just can't do cold. I
I put
just
Hawaii, Germany, and Italy as my three out of
okay.
country. But because I'm airborne, they have to send me to an airborne unit.
Yeah.
Um, and there are not many in Hawaii, or there are some availability, but Fort Bragg I put down because I knew I was going to airborne school, and they have the most availability mostly for airborne.
Okay.
That's why I put that. And I think I put oh God, I think I put Texas and California, and it turned out well I didn't go to California because that's Fort Irwin, and that's
Hmm.
not a good place. So
Okay. So now that you embarking on your finishing up on your military trade out journey, do you recommend this to anybody like to become in the service or any service at all?
I think a lot of people get skewed. As you said, we've been in trade doc. You go to basic and AIT, and there's a lot of rules and regulations, and a lot of people get very um, misled by how AIT is going to be. You think it's going to be so free and fun, but it's very locked down, and you have a lot of rules to follow. So it kind of makes people not want to be in the military. But when you actually get to your unit and everything, life changes, and you kind of get back to being the kind of person you can want to be, while also fulfilling your military career. I would say for most people, um, National Guard or reserves, the
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. Check one, two, check one, two. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, let me see if I can fuck myself. Are you there, Kelly? Hold on. You there? Hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on. Add to stream. Okay, let me see if I could. Until Kelly get his stream together, let me text him right quick and tell him to log off and log back on. Yeah, he just did that. Okay, I think he's coming now. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I apologize. There's a pretty
Let
bad
me add
storm
him
going
back.
on.
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, had some technical difficulties. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you good. I'm sorry. There's a very bad storm going
Okay.
on outside, and I think the internet went down.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, well, I got I'm doing something different now. In this segment, before your closing thoughts, and I want you to ask, is there any questions of me you want to know?
Yeah. Basically, to close out, everything I've said, talking about basic training in AIT, I would just kind of finish it off by saying, if you're thinking about joining the military, research before you actually do join. You don't want to get into a job because this is a contract you have to carry out. You don't want to get involved in a job that you will eventually not like. Do all the research you can to learn more about what you really will be doing in the Army. And you can't go wrong finding a job that really interests you. In the end, you're going to do things you don't want to do. You're going to have hard times. It's going to be rough, but that's the Army for you, So you got to find what you love and just try and give everything you do in the military 100%, and you will do well. But for my question for you, Wilson, which I don't think I've ever asked you, is what made you join the Army?
Okay. It's simple as this. So I went to school in 2011 in South Carolina. I was already in South Carolina, so I already knew about Fort Jackson. Um, I was here in South Carolina. I was going to school, and a buddy of mine asked me to go with him to a recruiter, and I was like, I ain't trying to see no recruiter. Like, I'll go with you. I ain't got shit to do today anyway. Shit, we just got out of class. So I went with him, and I was just sitting on the couch, just using my phone. And back then, I had the iPhone 3. Yeah, way back. So I was sitting on the couch, just chilling with him with the recruiter, and this is the Air National Guard. So and then then the recruiter said, "Hey, I see your buddy's joining. Do you want to join?" I looked at him. I was like, I don't even know. He's like, all right, well, if you don't know, let's go back and let's do the practice test. The practice, Asvab. So I got like a 39 on the practice Asvab. I didn't even try, to be honest with you. I'm not shit you not. I didn't even try the Asvab. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, I see you did good on the Asvab. Here's some list of the jobs you could do in the Air Force if you are willing to put in the effort. So me and him went, and I was like, me and him went, to the actual test day, and I got like a 32 on the ASVAB. And to be honest with you, I really didn't want to do it. I didn't have the heart for it, and I just did it because my friend was there, and I just wanted to, get out of school that day because the Air Force would give you the letter to get out of school. So I was like, yes, I get out of school for the day. So I did the test, I qualified, did all that messed up. And I told the recruiter, you know, I didn't want to do it. It's not for me. And the reason why it's not for me because I had a decent job, I had an apartment, but I should have took serious of the military in 2011 at the time, but I didn't. So years later, not being in school so long, I didn't do good in getting into the Air Force. Then I moved to Phoenix. I met with the Navy person, and the Navy, and I didn't pass the ASVAB with the Navy. I didn't pass the ASVAB, to be honest with you, after doing it the first time. And what happened was I moved to Indiana, because I was working out there, and a recruiter contacted me on Facebook saying, "Hey, are you just randomly? I didn't know the recruiter, just randomly typed me, say, hey, do you want to go to the Army?" Like, I ain't going to no Army, man. You can catch me on the front lines, nah. So at the time, I was like, since she was there, the Air Force recruiter was in my town, so I was like, all right, let me talk to the Air Force recruiter. Got all my paperwork and stuff, and said I got to take the ASVAB. And I had taken the ASVAB almost 2 years ago, but I only got like a 25 on the ASVAB, and I wasn't even taking the ASVAB serious. I didn't want to take the ASVAB and do the whole MEPS thing. And so when I did, it with the Air Force. She said, "Hey, we can't take you because you gotta get over at 31." I was like, "All right, cool." So 2 weeks later happened. I hit up the recruiter from the Army. Hey, what you talking about? I got a 25. Is this acceptable? She was like, nah. So I was like, all right, cool. I talked to the National Guard recruiter by accident. I don't know how the hell I found the National Guard recruiter, but I was on this group website called Asvab Mastery, and I seen something on the mastery thing, and I was like, there's something called Cat Force. I did not know what was Cat Force and stuff like that, but they said, hey, if anybody looking to join the National Guard, if you got an ASVAB score between 16 to 31, talk to recruiter. I was like, all right, cool. I called the recruiter. The recruiter was from California, and the recruiter from California referred me to somebody that was in my city. I went with her. I gave her all my information. The next, said, "Hey, we're gonna do drill. You go this day to Mets." I swore it in because the only thing I need to do is height and weight because I really had to take the ASVAB, and I took it and did everything I had to do. The next, October hits and I'm off the basic. So my pet peeve to myself and what I regretted to myself, and I'm mad at myself about it, is I should have took it serious in 2011 because I was the best. I was in the best shape. I was
Mhm.
not the weight I was when I went to basic training. If you looked at the pictures back in 2011, I weighed above 50, skinny ass neck, easy. And
Yeah,
now, what, 10, 12 years later, I'm what, 230, 240, not in the best shape of my life, but I survived. That's all I can say. And, if I would have did it 2011, I could have been retired or got out by now. That's my only regret is
yeah,
not actually taking it serious. So
yeah. Hindsight's 2020, right? Like you never
yeah,
know until you've already done it, and then it's like, man, I wish I did it. Like part of me wishes I enlisted right out of high school, but I wouldn't have the same experiences that I have now without that
and
two
that's the
years of
good thing
college.
about it because in 2011 I didn't have no college credits or nothing, so I would just start off as an E1 regardless. But I'm glad I got college credits, so I started off as an E3 and worked my way and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I know it's a story, but hey, that's how it happened. That's
Yeah, yeah,
exactly how
no,
it happened.
it's a completely like we're on like two opposite ends of it. I always knew I wanted to go in. You didn't want to go in at all, and we both ended up going the same direction in the end.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool like all the different types of people you meet along the way and their different experiences and everything. Um, I know for myself, you meet at basic training people from all over the country. Like they come from everywhere, so it was a really cool experience. So.
Okay. Do you have any more questions for me?
So what are you up to now?
Well, see what happened was I'm still in the National Guard. I graduated in April.
Yeah.
I was actually supposed to do my 2 week training today, but I don't know if you've seen. I put in the group chat. I swore it into the South Carolina National Guard because I'm back in South Carolina. I'm not totally in South Carolina's system yet. I'm still part of Indiana, even though I did the swearing in, I did the paperwork, and I didn't do my 2 weeks and my 2 weeks of the year thing. So missing out on money and some stuff I could be learning right now. That's why I said I regret not going active.
Hmm.
Right now I'm just chilling, just going about the flow. I had 2 job interviews because when I got home, everything was shut down. No jobs wasn't calling, nothing. Everything was shut down. And to this day, the country is starting to work back to what it wants to. And I got 2 interviews that they offered me, so I'm about to be working
Nice,
pretty
awesome.
soon.
I saw you got
And
a motorcycle too. I'm about to get a new one.
well, see what that motorcycle. Yes, I got to take the motorcycle course. I had took the motorcycle course before, but that was years ago. And I got another.
Mhm.
I got a motorcycle, but I'm going to trade that in and get a tricycle. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm going to show you what I'm trying to get.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I like that. So maybe one day I'm not too far from you. We'll ride. I'll ride up to Fort Bragg and chill out and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I've had a bike since 2017. I sold it right before I went to basics, so it's time for a new one for me. So back out on the road again.
Okay. All right. Well, any closing thoughts for you? Anything like that before we hang it up?
Uh, Stay hard, everyone. Just do what you got to do. That's it. That's it.
All right, all right. Well, I appreciate you for coming on. I'll put your social media in the description so people can hit you up if they have any questions about anything. And you as a person that I know and met face to face and actually vibe with, you're going to be a good leader. And I'm hoping that you are going the officer route when you do put your mind to it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on here. You were definitely a inspiration for me through basic, and your hard work never went unnoticed. So I'm glad to see you're doing well, and I wish you the best too in the future. I'm sure we'll keep in touch no matter what. So
All right, Callie. I'll hit you up. I'll give you a call right after this show. I'm about to close it out.
all right, man. Sounds good. Be good. I'll catch everyone later.
All right. All right. That was a good friend. My favorite PG, Callie. He did really good. Like I said before, he's going to be a good, amazing officer once he does do what he got to do. Um, Hopefully everything goes well with him shipping out from Georgia to no, to Georgia, then to his duty station in North Carolina. So I want to wish Kelly all the best. He's a very good guy. Everybody is like him, and he gets a lot of respect from people, and that's what you want as a true leader. Somebody that you earn their respect, not they demand respect from. So that's one thing I say about Kelly. He earns people respect. So, all right, YouTube. I hope this was very good and very informative. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good evening, afternoon, and night.